It's me. It's Dr. Pitts. I bet you're surprised to see me this time of the night. And that I'm actually here because my social media manager is sort of kind of a bully. And she told me that I have to start doing these lives because there's so much stigma associated with mental health that she decided that it would be a great idea to bring mental health to the folks. So that's what I'm doing. And tonight I want to talk to you about regulating your emotions. And I think one of the biggest questions that you have to ask yourself is, do you have a problem regulating your emotions? In other words, do you go from 0 to 100 in 2.3 seconds flat? And if so, why? What is the issue that you have demonstrating self control and self discipline that's hindering your ability to control yourself and to control your emotions? And there could be any number of reasons for that. Not knocking, the fact that folks have been through stuff that has adversely impacted them. But at the end of the day, you have to be willing to do the self work that is necessary so that you are not flipping out on people and threatening to lay hands and doing all of this stuff. I get it. You're looking at somebody who had anger management issues. I was court mandated to anger management 3 times. Um, Definitely had an issue with these hands for a long time. Didn't regulate my emotions and had a fairly funky violent streak. But if I'm honest about that funky violent streak was because I had so much unresolved trauma. I had so much bitterness and hatred and resentment and just pent up hostility because of the adverse experiences that I had been through. And I never felt like there was anybody that was hearing me. I never felt like there was anybody that was listening to me or willing to help me to be safe. So, what I want to say to you is this: if you know that what I'm saying looks and feels and sounds like you, I'm not saying that you have to go to therapy. I would suggest that you're doing yourself a disservice by not seeking help. But if you're not going to go to therapy, I want to strongly encourage you to find the root of what it is that's contributing to your difficulty in being able to better manage your emotions. Is it immaturity? Is it a lack of accountability? Is it unresolved childhood trauma? Is it unresolved adult trauma? Is it suppression, oppression, depression? It could be any number of things. But one thing that I do know for sure is this: you don't want to spend the rest of your life being the prostitute to the pimp of your circumstances, to the people, places, and things that have your code, that have the ability to pull you off your square and have you navigate in life acting crazy. We live in a day and time where you can go to jail. You can go to jail. You can end up hurting somebody. Somebody could end up hurting you. You're passing all of that hostility and aggression and craziness onto your kids. Then you're mad at them, and when you take a step back, you realize, oh darn, they act just like me. It's learned behavior. I want you to come on here each time that I go live, because what I'm planning to do is I'm planning to do a quick live, 15 to 30 minutes every Thursday from 7 to 7:15, 7 to 7:30, and I want you to pick my brain. I want you to ask me questions. I want you to tap into all of the formal education and training and professional expertise on behavior and mental health and relationships, and get the answers that you need up close, in person, from someone who learned in a lot of ways the hard way how to overcome adversity, how to rise above the traumatic experiences that I've gone through. You're looking at someone who had, truth be told, every reason in the world to stay consumed by hatred and bitterness and unforgiveness and hostility. But I got tired of being a prostitute to the pimp of the people, places, and things that had hurt me, that had violated me, that had failed to keep me safe. And because of all of that, for many, 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 many years, I was blacking out. I was fighting. I was belligerent. I was obnoxious. I was disrespectful. I was fill in the darn blank. I was those things. I was drinking. I was drugging. I was engaging in all types of risky behavior that was coming out in so many unhealthy ways. But the primary way that it was coming out was my inability to regulate my emotions. And what I came to realize, and it took me years, it took me until the age of 25, and I'm 56 now. It took me until the age of 25 to realize that there were people in my life who actually got pleasure out of punching my code. Sometimes they would bang my code with a sledgehammer, which meant that I was spending far too many days of my life dancing to the beat of their drum. I was spending far too many days of my life in reaction mode. And that meant that I had surrendered all of my power. I had surrendered my self-control and my self-discipline to all of these other people who didn't have a right at all to have control over me, to be able to manipulate me, to be able to dominate me, to be able to impact my behavior in any way, shape, form, or fashion. So my encouragement to you is look in the mirror intentionally, deliberately, on purpose, all caps, on purpose. Take a look in the mirror and get real with you about why you don't have the self-control, the self-discipline, the self-respect, the self-regard to be a stronger, healthier, better version of yourself that demonstrates to all of those that you interact with that you have the ability to regulate your emotions. You have to. You can never heal what you won't acknowledge. And if you choose to spend the rest of your life blaming everything and everybody for your own behavior, you're gonna spend the rest of your life being a prostitute to the people, places, and things that have your code. How is that any way to live? Where is the joy and the peace and the fulfillment in dancing to the beat of somebody else's drum all the time? They know if they say A, B, C, D, E, F, or G, you gonna flip smooth out. They know if you do X, Y, or Z, you screaming, yelling, hooping, hollering, and cussing. They know that if you do, if they do this, this, or this, you gonna threaten to lay hands. Aren't you tired? Aren't you tired of being somebody else's puppet? Aren't you tired? Aren't you tired of dealing with the bullies at work that know exactly what to say and do in a meeting to get you to flip out? Aren't you tired of arguing and fussing and fighting with your kids and your partner and your spouse and your dog and your cat and your mom and them and your girls? Aren't you tired? I'm tired for you because I know how exhausting it is to 2, 3, 4, 5. Lauren is going to flip out. Her birthmark is going to show. She's going to scream. She's going to yell. She's going to foam at the mouth. She's going to break stuff. She's going to end up at the ER because she cut her hand. She punched a wall. She did. How many doors and walls have you punched or kicked? How many times have the cops been called on you or somebody threatened to call the cops because you don't know how to act? How many times did your kids look like they were scared to death of you because you flipped smooth out and they were questioning whether or not their parent was insane? How many times did you fly off the handle at your spouse or partner and emasculate him or have her flinching because you whooping her tail? How many times? You got to ask yourself these questions. You got to. And I'm here for you. Like I said, I'm going to bring therapy to you. You don't want to go to therapy? Don't go to therapy. I don't tell nobody what to do. It's your life. Live it. I just want you to live it in the healthiest, most possible way that you can. Because I know what it looks like. I know what it feels like. I know what happens long term when you don't demonstrate self-control and self-discipline. We used to have a term back in the day called catching the rams. That was when you get all liquored up, but you couldn't handle your liquor, and you was fighting and tearing up stuff and acting like a bull in a china shop because you couldn't handle your liquor. But at the root, you can't handle your emotions. You self-medicating, you drinking, you drugging, you doing everything you big and bad enough to do, trying to cover up that pain that's coming out in all types of crazy ways in your behavior because you won't get to the root, because you treat your feelings, you treat your emotions like they're domestic terrorists that have the ability, that have the right to be able to control you and dominate you and manipulate you and have you running around in every aspect of your life acting crazy. I ain't telling you what I heard, I'm telling you what I know. Because I ran around for a long time acting crazy. But that don't have to be you. So, that's all I wanted to say. I'm going to come. I'm going to offer you some Dr. Pitts tips every Thursday from 7 to 7:15, 7 to 7:30. And you can get some free tips. You can ask me questions. You can ask me for some clinical insight. You can, whatever you need that is going to help you to be a stronger, healthier, better version of yourself. I'm here to provide you the support for free. My grandfather always said, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. I'm offering you some water for free. It's up to you whether you stay thirsty. But I'm going to do my part and position myself to help you. Have a good night.